All right, picture this. It's the dead of night. You're on a single motorcycle, and it's cutting right through the middle of the deep, desolate Telgon forest. The road? Totally empty. The only sound you can hear is the hum of your engine. It's that kind of quiet that just feels heavy, you know? Like something is watching. And this is right where our story kicks off. And just like that, the trip grinds to a halt. Just a quick stop on the side of the road. But when it's time to get going again, one of the three friends, a guy named Ajay, he's just gone. A simple call out into the pitch black darkness gets absolutely no reply. And this is the exact moment that everything starts to fall apart.
So let's break down how a perfectly normal night turned into an absolute nightmare. You got three friends just passing through the forest on a bike. They pull over for a second, a totally routine stop. But then Ajay disappears. And just when they're about to write it off as some kind of joke, this blood-curdling scream just rips through the trees. "Brother, save me!"
They don't even think. They just sprint towards the sound. And the first thing they find? Blood, splattered all over the dead leaves on the ground. Then they see it, these clear, undeniable drag marks in the dirt. And off in the distance, a sight that would freeze anyone's heart. A woman in a black sari, physically hauling Ajay by his leg deeper into the woods. They try to give chase, but she's moving with this impossible, unnatural speed. She just vanishes into the darkness before they can even get close. That trail of dragged earth leads them somewhere they never expected. A decaying two-story wooden mansion, completely overgrown with vines, looking like the forest is trying to swallow it whole. And it's from inside this creepy old ruin that they hear Ajay scream one last time, before this awful, deep silence just falls over everything. So, right there, outside this terrifying house, an argument breaks out between the two friends left. Suresh is completely panicked. He's convinced they're dealing with something supernatural, a witch. He just wants to run for his life. But the narrator? He refuses. He argues it could be a psycho killer, someone human they can actually fight. He's not abandoning his friend. The narrator, he's driven by loyalty, right? He decides he's going in, whether his friend is with him or not. He has to know what happened to Ajay. But seriously, what kind of horror has he just volunteered to walk into? As they're arguing, another scream just rips through the air. This one's coming from the second floor of the mansion. It's a sound of pure agony, and it's unmistakably Ajay. And then nothing. Just absolute silence. And honestly, that silence is somehow even more terrifying than the scream was. Well, that scream ends the debate right then and there. The narrator sprints up the creaking staircase, his friend Suresh following, terrified right behind him. And what he sees in the upstairs corridor just stops him dead in his tracks. There's a body, and it's hanging upside down from the ceiling, tied up with a thick black rope. It's Ajay. But the thing that makes his blood run cold, the thing that makes Suresh let out this shriek of pure terror, is that Ajay's head is completely gone. And just then, as if things weren't already impossible, from a dark room right next to them, they hear the sound of someone crying. But the voice, it's Ajay's. They cautiously peek into the room and they see her, the woman in the black sari. Her back is to them, her shoulders are shaking as she sobs, with their friend's voice. The whole scene just feels so impossibly wrong. The narrator calls out, his voice shaking, "Who are you? Where's Ajay?" And the woman, she turns. And that's when they see it. She has no head. But in her hands, she's holding Ajay's severed head. And it's from this head that the voice speaks, its eyes looking right at them, saying, "Friends, I'm here." Then, this headless spirit does something truly grotesque. She places Ajay's head onto her own shoulders, and it just attaches. She smiles at them with their friend's face and moves to block the exit. See, she's not just some mindless monster. She's a spirit with a purpose, and she's about to give them an ultimatum. Her demand is brutally simple, and it is absolutely non-negotiable. She looks at them with Ajay's eyes and says, "Bring me my head, or I will take yours." And just like that, their lives now depend on solving a murder mystery for a ghost. The narrator and Suresh, they just bolt. They run for their lives back into the forest. But after a minute, the narrator realizes he's alone. He looks back and he sees Suresh just walking like a zombie, straight back toward the mansion. The spirit, still wearing Ajay's head, is watching from a window, smiling. She's got him hypnotized. The narrator desperately tries to pull him away, but he's violently thrown against a tree. And he's forced to watch, completely powerless, as Suresh calmly walks back into that room, picks up a knife, and decapitates himself. So now, 2 friends are dead. The spirit is blocking the exit again, and her message could not be clearer. There is no escape. The narrator is completely trapped, and his survival now hangs by a single thread. He has to find her real head.
Realizing he has absolutely no other choice, the narrator asks the spirit what happened to her. And she tells him this incredibly tragic story. She and her husband were here on vacation. 3 drunk campers broke in. Her husband tried to fight them off to protect her, but he was stabbed to death with a camping knife. And then, in a drunken rage, one of the men stabbed her and then cut off her head.
She explains that the men buried her body under a nearby banyan tree, but for some reason, they didn't bury her head with it. And that's why her spirit is trapped here, incomplete. She needs her head reunited with her bones so she can be cremated and finally find some peace. The narrator presses her for any detail, anything that could help, and she gives him one final crucial clue. Her last memory was hearing the killers talking about frying and eating fish, and then she adds that her husband had only caught 1 single fish that day.
The narrator's mind is racing. Wait a minute. 1 fish isn't nearly enough for 3 hungry drunk eyes. They would have wanted more. And where's the only place to get more fish around here? The pond behind the mansion? He puts it together. As they went to the pond to catch more fish, one of them, who was probably still carrying her severed head, just got tired of holding it and chucked it into the water.
So, with this one theory as his only hope, he goes to the pond. He has no idea where to even start. For 2 agonizing hours, he wades through that dark, murky water, just feeling around in the mud and the slime with his bare hands and feet, desperately searching for a skull. And then, after what must have felt like an absolute eternity, his foot hit something hard and round, stuck deep in the silt at the bottom. He reaches down, pulls it out, and it's a human skull, eaten clean by fish. He found it. He actually found her head.
He carries the skull back to that banyan tree and starts digging up her makeshift grave. He places the head with the rest of her skeleton, finally making her whole again. Then he gathers whatever wood he can find and performs a cremation, just like she asked. And as the flames start to rise, he sees her spirit, no longer headless, shimmering in the heat before just peacefully ascending into the night sky. The second she was gone, he was free. He didn't hesitate, he didn't think twice, he just ran. He ran out of that mansion, ran through that forest, and left that horrifying place behind him, vowing to himself that he would never, ever look back. And this whole thing leaves us with a pretty chilling thought, doesn't it? If you were faced with that impossible choice, certain death on one hand or a terrifying quest for a vengeful ghost on the other, what would you have done? Would you have run like Suresh tried to? Or would you have stayed and tried to solve the mystery to save your own skin? It's a question that's easy enough to answer now, from here, but a whole lot harder when you're alone in the dead of night in the heart of a haunted forest.